The knock came at 6:47 on a Tuesday morning. I was pouring coffee when I heard it, 3 sharp raps that somehow felt different from a delivery or neighbor. I opened the door to find a young woman standing on my porch, holding a cardboard box against her chest like it might explode. She had my eyes, the same green-gray that my mother always said looked like storm clouds. Her hands trembled as she spoke. "Are you Thomas Reeves?" I nodded, unable to form words. My coffee mug felt suddenly heavy. "I'm Sophia," she said. "I'm your daughter." The world tilted. 18 years of wondering, of writing letters into a void, of being told I had no right to contact her. All of it collapsed into this single moment. She was real. She was here. She was looking at me like I was a stranger who owed her answers. "Why didn't you ever try to find me?" Her voice cracked on the last word. I stared at the box in her hands. It was battered, held together with packing tape that had yellowed with age. Through the cardboard flaps, I could see envelopes. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. "I wrote you every month for 18 years. I whispered. "Every single month." Her face went pale. "What?" I invited her inside, my hands shaking as I cleared newspapers off the kitchen table. Sophia set the box down carefully, like it contained something fragile. She wouldn't sit. She just stood there, staring at me with a mixture of anger and confusion that made my chest ache. "Mom said you left when I was 2, she said. "She said you didn't want us. That you never called, never wrote, never even asked about me." The words hit like punches. Monica had told her I abandoned them. Of course she had. That's not true. I pulled out a chair and sat before my legs gave out. None of that is true. Sophia's jaw tightened. "Then explain this." She opened the box and pulled out a stack of envelopes. They were mine. I recognized my handwriting immediately. Each one was addressed to Sophia at various addresses over the years. But something was wrong. The seals were broken. Every single envelope had been opened. "I never got these," Sophia said. "I found them in Mom's storage unit last week. She's moving to Florida with her boyfriend, and she asked me to help clean out the garage. These were in a box marked tax documents." I reached for the nearest letter. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely hold it. The letter was dated March 15th, 8 years ago. Sophia's 10th birthday. I remembered writing it at my kitchen table, trying to find words that would mean something to a daughter who didn't know me. I unfolded the paper carefully. My handwriting looked younger somehow, more hopeful. "Dear Sophia, happy 10th birthday, sweetheart. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I imagine you're getting taller every year. Do you still love strawberry ice cream? I remember you used to get it all over your face when you were little. I'm sending this letter like I always do, hoping that maybe this time you'll read it. I think about you every single day. I wonder what makes you laugh, what you're learning in school, whether you have friends who make you happy. I love you more than words can say. I hope someday you'll let me tell you that in person. Love always, Dad." Sophia was reading over my shoulder. When I looked up, tears were streaming down her face. "Strawberry ice cream is still my favorite," she whispered. "How did you know that?" "Because I was there," I said. "I was there until your mother made sure I couldn't be." I stood and walked to my filing cabinet. My hand still shook as I pulled out a folder I'd kept for 18 years. Inside was a copy of the custody agreement, the one the judge had signed when Sophia was 3 years old. I'd been granted visitation every other weekend and alternating holidays. It was all there in black and white, signed and notarized. Sophia took the document and read it slowly. Her face changed as she absorbed the words. "This says you were supposed to see me. This is a court order. Your mother never let me see you. Not once. I'd show up at the agreed time, and she'd either be gone or she'd call the police and say I was harassing her. After the 5th time, my lawyer said I needed to stop showing up without warning. He said we'd go back to court. And did you?" I pulled out another folder. Inside were court filings, motions, requests for enforcement, dates and stamps, and signatures from judges who'd heard my case and done nothing. 7 times. I went back to court 7 times. Each time, your mother had an excuse. I was unstable. I was dangerous. I'd moved without telling her my address, so she couldn't arrange visits. Sophia's hands were shaking now too. But that's illegal. You can't just ignore a court order. That's what I thought too. The next revelation came when Sophia mentioned the addresses on my letters. I'd written to her at 6 different locations over the years, always managing to track down where Monica had moved. Sophia frowned as she looked at the envelopes. "I never lived at this address," she said, pointing to one from 5 years ago. "Or this one. These aren't even in the same state." I felt cold. "What do you mean? We live in the same house from the time I was 4 until I turned 16. Mom bought it with money from her dad when he died. We never moved." I stared at the envelopes. The addresses were different. Some were in different cities. I'd spent hundreds of dollars on private investigators over the years, trying to find Sophia so I could send letters. Each time, they'd come back with an address. Each time, I'd sent letters there. She was sending me fake addresses, I said slowly. She was making sure the letters came back marked, address unknown, or return to sender. She wanted me to think you'd disappeared. Sophia sat down hard in the chair. "Why would she do that?" "Because if I couldn't find you, I couldn't fight for you." Sophia was quiet for a long time. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "I got a present once. When I was 7. It was a stuffed elephant, the kind with the big floppy ears. Mom told me it was from Santa, but I remember thinking it was weird because we'd already done Christmas. This was in February. My heart stopped. "Your birthday. February 14th. "How did you?" She stared at me. "I never told you when my birthday was." "I was there when you were born, Sophia. I held you in the hospital. Your mother let me name you. I picked Sophia because it means wisdom." Her eyes filled with tears again. "The elephant. Mom took it away that same night. She said it was a mistake, that Santa had left it for someone else." I cried for days. "I love that elephant." "I sent it," I said quietly. "I sent it to your school because I couldn't find your home address that year. I thought if I sent it to the school office, they'd make sure you got it." Mom worked at that school. She was the front desk secretary. We looked at each other, the full horror of it settling between us. Sophia pulled out her phone with shaking hands. "I need to call someone." "Who?" "Your mom." "My grandmother." She looked at me. "Mom always said your parents were dead, that you came from a broken family, and that's why you couldn't handle being a father." "My mother is 73 and lives in Oregon," I said. "We talk every Sunday." Sophia dialed a number I didn't recognize. Probably got it from my phone records or social media. The phone rang 3 times before a familiar voice answered. "Hello. Is this Patricia Reeves?" Sophia's voice was steady, but I could hear the tremor underneath. "Yes, who's calling?" "My name is Sophia. I think I'm your granddaughter." The sound that came through the phone was something between a gasp and a sob. My mother's voice broke as she spoke. "Sophia? Oh my God. Thomas, is Thomas there?" "I'm here, Mom," I said, moving closer to the phone. "She told me you were dead." My mother sobbed. "Monica told me you died in a car accident when you were 5. I tried to find you, sweetheart. I tried so hard, but she'd moved and changed her number. I hired investigators. I searched for years. My mother said she had something to show us. Something Monica had never wanted Sophia to see. She promised to overnight it from Oregon. The package arrived the next morning, a small box wrapped in brown paper and sealed with enough tape to survive nuclear war. Inside was a cassette tape. "What is this?" Sophia asked, turning it over in her hands. "Your grandmother still keeps old answering machine tapes," I said. "She's sentimental like that." I had to dig through my closet to find a cassette player, an old boom box from the 90s that somehow still worked. I popped in the tape and pressed play. Static hissed through the speakers. Then Monica's voice came through, crystal clear and laughing. "Pat, you can stop calling. I'm not giving you her address or her number. You think I don't know what you're trying to do? You want to help Thomas take her from me. Well, guess what? He's never going to find us. I made sure of that. Every time he gets close, I move. Every time he writes, I intercept it. It's actually kind of fun, watching him chase ghosts." There was more laughter than the click of a phone hanging up. Sophia was white. "When was this recorded?" I checked the date written on the tape in my mother's careful handwriting. 12 years ago. You would have been 6. Sophia went home that night, but she called me the next morning. Her voice was different, harder, more focused. "I'm going to record her," she said. "I'm going to call Mom and get her to admit what she did." "Sophia, you don't have to." "Yes, I do. I need to hear it from her. I need to know this is real." She called Monica that afternoon with me sitting beside her. I could hear both sides of the conversation because Sophia put it on speaker. She kept her voice light, innocent. "Hey, Mom. I was just thinking about Dad today. I was wondering why he never tried to contact me." Monica's sigh came through clearly. "Honey, we've talked about this. Your father wasn't capable of being a parent. He had issues, mental health problems, addiction issues. I protected you from all that. But didn't he ever write or call? If he did, I never received it. He probably sent some things to wrong addresses. You know how disorganized he was." Sophia's jaw clenched. "What if I wanted to reach out to him now? Would that be okay?" There was a long pause. "Sophia, I really don't think that's a good idea. You'll understand someday why I had to protect you from him. He's not a good person." That night, Sophia went back to Monica's house. Her mother was out with her boyfriend, leaving Sophia alone in the house she'd grown up in. She went straight to Monica's bedroom closet. "I remembered something," she told me later. "When I was helping her pack for Florida, I saw this safe in the back of her closet. She got really weird about it, told me it was just old tax documents and family papers. But the way she said it made me suspicious." Sophia found the safe exactly where she remembered it. It was small, fireproof, with a combination lock. She tried her birthday. Nothing. She tried Monica's birthday. Nothing. Then she tried the date of Monica and my divorce. The safe opened. Inside were documents, photos, and more letters, dozens more that I'd sent over the years. But there was something else too. An envelope marked in Monica's handwriting. "Do not open unless she finds out." Sophia opened it. The letter inside was dated 6 months ago. Monica had written it to herself, apparently planning for the possibility that her lies might eventually unravel. In it, she admitted to intercepting my letters and keeping us apart, but she framed it as protection. I had to keep her away from him. After what happened, after his breakdown, I couldn't risk her getting hurt. "What breakdown?" Sophia asked me the next morning. "What is she talking about?" I'd known this conversation would come eventually. I just hadn't expected it to be so soon. I sat at my kitchen table and told Sophia something I'd spent years trying to forget. "After your mother and I divorced, I fell apart. You were 2 years old. I'd lost you, lost our house, lost everything I'd built. I started drinking. Not just a beer after work. I mean really drinking. I couldn't hold down my job. I couldn't pay my rent. My mother staged an intervention and put me in rehab." Sophia's face was unreadable. "When you were 3, I was in there for 60 days. When I came out, I'd missed 2 months of visitation. Your mother went back to court and used my rehab stay as proof that I was unfit. The judge reduced my custody. But you got better," Sophia said slowly. "I did. I've been sober for 15 years. I rebuilt my life. I got a new job, moved to a better apartment, went to therapy. I did everything the court asked me to do. But your mother made sure none of that mattered. Every time I went back to court, she'd bring up the rehab. She'd say I was unstable, unpredictable." Sophia was quiet. Then she said something that surprised me. "I need to talk to your lawyer." My old lawyer, Henry Brooks, was retired now, but he agreed to meet with us at his house. He was 71, with white hair and kind eyes that sharpened when Sophia explained why we'd come. "I remember your case," he said to me. "One of the most frustrating I ever worked on. Your ex-wife was very good at manipulating the system." He pulled out an old file box from his garage. He'd kept records of all his cases, even in retirement. Inside was everything from my custody battle, court transcripts, motions, evidence submissions. "Your mother made a formal accusation of abuse during the custody hearings," Henry said to Sophia. "She claimed Thomas had been physically violent toward her and toward you. She submitted photos of bruises, hospital records, the whole package." Sophia's face went white. "Did he?" "No," Henry said firmly. "We proved every single accusation was false. The bruises in the photos were proven to be makeup. The hospital records were from when she fell downstairs at her office. Nothing to do with Thomas. But by the time we'd proven all that, the damage was done. Thomas's reputation was destroyed. And the court still gave her custody. The court believed her initial accusations just enough to be cautious. Even after we proved she'd lied, The judge said it was in your best interest to stay with your mother. Thomas was fighting uphill from that moment on. Henry mentioned something in passing that made Sophia freeze. Has Monica told you about her fiancé? Victor, Sophia said. They've been together for 5 years. What about him? Henry and I exchanged glances. I hadn't known about this part. Henry flipped through his files and pulled out a document. Victor formally adopted you 3 years ago, Henry said. According to these records, he petitioned the court claiming Thomas had abandoned you and voluntarily terminated his parental rights. The adoption was granted. Sophia grabbed the document. That's impossible. I never signed anything. Nobody ever talked to me about this. You were 15. In this state, if the biological parents' whereabouts are unknown and they haven't made contact in over a year, the court can proceed without their consent. Monica told the court she had no way to contact Thomas. But I was sending letters, I said, to the addresses the investigator gave me. Henry nodded grimly. Addresses she was feeding to your investigator through intermediaries. She created a paper trail showing you'd moved constantly, couldn't hold down a residence. Made it look like you were running from responsibility. Sophia's hands were shaking. So legally, Victor is my father? On paper, yes. The next discovery came when Sophia looked more carefully at the adoption papers. One document required my signature, a formal termination of parental rights. And there it was at the bottom of page 3, Thomas Reeves, signed and dated. I never signed this, I said immediately. Sophia and I took the document to a handwriting expert, a retired police forensic analyst who did private consultations. She was a small woman named Diane, probably 60, with reading glasses that hung on a chain around her neck. Give me 3 days, she said, examining the signature under a magnifying glass. I'll need samples of your actual signature from the same time period for comparison. I provided her with old checks, tax returns, employment contracts, anything from around the time the document was supposedly signed. 3 days later, Diane called us back to her office. This signature is a forgery, she said without preamble. Whoever signed this tried to match your handwriting, but look here, she pointed to specific letters with a red pen. The pressure points are wrong. You naturally bear down on upstrokes. This person bore down on downstrokes. Your E has a distinctive loop. This one doesn't. Your V slants right. This slants left. Can you prove it in court? Sophia asked. I can testify to it, yes. This is clear fraud. Sophia wanted to confront Monica immediately. I tried to talk her out of it, told her we should go to the police first, or back to court, or literally anywhere except directly to the person who'd spent 18 years lying. But Sophia was 18 now, legally an adult, and angrier than I'd ever seen anyone. I want her to see my face when she realizes I know, Sophia said. I want to watch her try to lie her way out of this. She texted Monica, asking to meet for coffee. Monica suggested their favorite cafe, a place they'd been going together since Sophia was 10. I waited in my truck across the street, unable to see them, but close enough that Sophia could call if she needed me.
The confrontation lasted 30 minutes. When Sophia came out, her face was red and streaked with tears. She got in my truck and just sat there, shaking. What happened? She denied everything at first. So I was being manipulated by you. That you were lying to turn me against her. So I played her the voicemail, the one she left for your mom 12 years ago. What did she say? Sophia's voice went flat. She said I was taking it out of context, that she was just venting because she was stressed. Then I showed her the forgery report, and she started crying. Said she only did it to protect me, that I'd understand when I was older. What happened next, I didn't expect. None of us did. Monica suddenly stopped crying. Her face changed, went from panic to cold in a heartbeat. And then she said something that made Sophia's entire world shift again. You want to know the truth? Fine. Ask your father about his other daughter. Sophia called me immediately. I could hear the tremor in her voice. Dad, what is she talking about? What other daughter? I went cold. What did she say exactly? She said you have another daughter. That you abandoned her too, before I was born. Is that true? I closed my eyes. This was the secret I'd buried so deep, I'd almost convinced myself it wasn't real. Her name is Claire. She was born when I was 23. Her mother was someone I dated before I met Monica. We weren't together long, maybe 6 months. When she got pregnant, she moved back to her home state. I tried to stay in touch, but she cut me off, said I was too immature to be a father. Did you fight for her? I tried, but I was young and broke and didn't know how the system worked. Her mother got married when Claire was 2. Her new husband adopted Claire. I was erased. Where's Claire now? I don't know. I haven't heard from her in over 20 years. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. I'm going to find her. It took Sophia less than 2 days to track down Claire through social media. She found her on a platform for professionals. Claire was 34 now, working as a nurse in Minnesota. Sophia sent her a direct message explaining who she was. Claire responded within an hour. They agreed to meet at a coffee shop halfway between our city and where Claire lived, a 3-hour drive for both of them. I wasn't invited to that first meeting. Sophia said Claire needed to process this without me there. I understood, even though it hurt. When Sophia came back, she looked exhausted but also somehow lighter. She's nice, Sophia said. Quiet. She's married with 2 kids. She's a pediatric nurse. Did she say anything about me? She said her mother told her you were a drug addict, that you were in and out of jail, that you signed away your rights because you didn't want to be tied down. My chest ached. None of that was true. I know. Claire knows now too. She said her mother remarried when she was 3. Her stepdad adopted her. She always wondered about you, but her mom made it seem like you were dangerous. Monica did the same thing to both of you. Sophia shook her head. No, Claire's mother did it to her. Monica just copied the playbook. Claire agreed to talk to me. We met at a diner, neutral territory. She looked like me. Same eyes, same way of holding her shoulders when she was nervous. She ordered coffee and didn't touch it. I'm not here to forgive you, she said right away. I'm here because Sophia asked me to listen. I nodded. That's fair. My mom told me you were a mess. She said you couldn't hold down a job, that you were using drugs, that you disappeared for months at a time. I was 23 and working 2 jobs to save money for an apartment. I was broke, but I wasn't on drugs. I called your mom every week for 2 years until she changed her number. I sent letters. I sent money when I could. Then one day, I got papers saying I'd voluntarily terminated my rights. The signature looked like mine, but I never signed it. Claire's eyes widened. That's exactly what happened to you with Sophia. Monica learned from your mother. Or maybe it's just what people do when they want to erase someone. Claire pulled a box from her bag. I found these last year when my mom died. I was cleaning out her house. Inside were letters. My letters. Dozens of them, addressed to Claire at different ages. All opened, then hidden away. I spent my whole life thinking you didn't want me, Claire whispered. And you were writing to me the whole time. Claire had questions about my past, specifically about the rehab stay Monica had mentioned. I told her the same thing I told Sophia. After Monica and I divorced, I fell apart. I drank too much, couldn't function. My mother got me into treatment. I spent 60 days in rehab getting sober, and I've been clean ever since. But that was after I was born, Claire said. Mom made it sound like you were using drugs while I was a baby. I wasn't. I struggled after your mother left. I was young and scared and didn't know how to handle losing you. But I wasn't using drugs. The only substance issue I've ever had was alcohol, and that came later. Claire studied my face. Mom used to say addiction was hereditary. She'd tell me to be careful, like I might turn into you someday. Did you believe her? I don't know what I believed, but I never touched alcohol because I was so scared I'd lose control. She laughed bitterly. I built my whole life around avoiding becoming someone I never actually was. Sophia reached across the table and took Claire's hand. We both did. We both spent years believing lies about someone who was trying to find us. Over the next few weeks, Claire and Sophia discovered something that chilled us all. They started comparing notes, locations, dates, patterns. Both mothers had moved frequently. Both had changed phone numbers every few years. Both had intercepted mail and blocked contact with extended family. It's like they were following the same instructions, Sophia said one night. We were sitting in my kitchen, me, Sophia, and Claire, who'd driven down for the weekend. Claire pulled up something on her laptop. Look at this. Mom moved us 4 times in 5 years. Each time, she told people we were running from you, that you were dangerous and unstable. She built this whole narrative. Monica did the same thing, Sophia said. She told her friends, her family, the courts, everyone, that dad was a threat. She made herself look like this brave, single mother protecting her child. How many other people do you think they told these lies to? Claire asked. The question hung in the air. Then Sophia's face changed. Oh my God, social media. She pulled out her phone and started typing. Within minutes, she found a post from Monica's friend, a woman named Andrea, who'd commented sympathetically on one of Monica's photos about staying strong for her daughter. Sophia showed it to us. The post was from 2 years ago. So proud of my friend Monica for protecting Sophia from a dangerous situation. Not all heroes wear capes. She told everyone, Sophia whispered. She made me part of her brand. Sophia made her decision that night. She was going to tell the truth publicly. Not for revenge, though I think part of her wanted that too, but because she needed people to know what Monica had done. She wrote a post on her own social media that night. I read it over her shoulder as she typed. My name is Sophia, and I need to tell you something about my mother. For 18 years, she told me my father abandoned us, that he was dangerous, unstable, didn't want me. She showed me no letters, no calls, no proof he ever tried to contact me. Last week, I found over 100 letters he'd written to me, letters my mother had intercepted and hidden. I found court documents proving he'd fought for custody. I found evidence of fraud, manipulation, and systematic erasure of my father from my life. My mother is not a hero. She's a liar, and I'm done protecting her reputation. She posted it at midnight. By morning, it had been shared 200 times. By afternoon, 1,000. Monica's friends, family, and coworkers saw it. People started commenting with their own stories. Neighbors who remembered Monica talking about her deadbeat ex. Coworkers who donated money to help her raise Sophia alone, friends who'd supported her through the trauma of having an abusive ex. They all felt betrayed. Monica sent a letter 3 days later. It arrived in my mailbox, addressed to Sophia, in care of me. The envelope was thick, the letter inside written in Monica's careful handwriting. Sophia, I know you're angry. I know you think I'm a monster. But I need you to understand something. Everything I did to protect you. When your father and I divorced, he was not in a good place. The drinking, the instability, it was real. I was terrified he'd hurt you, or himself, or someone else. So yes, I kept his letters from you. I did it because I couldn't risk you reaching out to someone who might pull you into his chaos. I know now that maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have let you read the letters when you were older. But I was so scared, Sophia. Every time he tried to contact you, I remembered how bad things were. I remembered the nights he didn't come home, the mornings I had to call in sick to work because I was too exhausted from dealing with his problems. I made mistakes, but I made them out of love. Please forgive me. You're all I have. Mom. Sophia read it twice, then set it down. She's still lying. Even now, she's still trying to control the story. What do you want to do? I asked. I want to go to court. I want her to face consequences for what she did. We filed a lawsuit 3 weeks later. The charges included fraud, forgery, and interference with parental custody. Our lawyer, a sharp woman named Barbara who specialized in family law, said we had an excellent case. The forged signature alone is enough for criminal charges, Barbara said. The rest is just building the pattern of behavior. The case took 6 months to go to trial. During that time, more evidence came to light. Barbara discovered that Monica had been cashing checks from a trust fund my parents had set up for Sophia, money that was supposed to go to her education. Monica had claimed she was Sophia's sole guardian and therefore entitled to manage the funds. Over 16 years, she'd withdrawn nearly $85,000. She stole from me? Sophia said when Barbara showed us the bank records. Technically, she stole from your trust. But yes, in court, Monica's lawyer tried to paint her as a protective mother who'd made difficult choices. But Barbara systematically destroyed that narrative. She brought in the handwriting expert who testified about the forgery. She played the voicemail Monica had left for my mother. She showed the pattern of address changes, the intercepted letters, the false accusations of abuse. Then she called her surprise witness. The woman who took the stand was someone I'd never seen before. Her name was Jessica, and she'd been Monica's best friend in college. They'd lost touch years ago, but Jessica had seen Sophia's social media post and reached out to Barbara. Monica and I were roommates senior year, Jessica testified. She got pregnant during that time, not with Sophia, but before. She had an abortion. Afterward, she said something I never forgot. She said, "If I ever have a kid, I'm never sharing them with anyone. They'll be mine and only mine." The courtroom went silent. "Did you believe she meant that?" Barbara asked. At the time, I thought she was just upset. But years later, when I saw her posts about raising Sophia alone, about protecting her from a dangerous ex, I remembered what she'd said. It felt like she turned it into a mission. Barbara pulled out a recording device. "Ms. Fletcher, did Monica ever discuss her ex-husband with you?" "Once. This was maybe 15 years ago. We'd reconnected on social media. She called me drunk one night and laughed about how easy it was to keep Thomas away from Sophia. She said, 'He sends letters like clockwork. I just make sure they never reach her. It's like playing chess with someone who doesn't know they've already lost.' And you recorded this conversation?" "I did. I was worried about her, about what she was saying. I kept the recording in case something like this ever happened." The recording played for the courtroom. Monica's voice, drunk and cruel, bragging about her manipulation. The judge's face hardened. The verdict came 3 weeks later. Monica was found guilty of fraud, forgery, and custodial interference. She was ordered to repay the full amount she'd taken from Sophia's trust, plus interest, nearly $110,000. She was also sentenced to 18 months in prison, though the judge suspended 12 months, meaning she'd serve 6 if she stayed out of trouble. But the legal consequences weren't the worst part for Monica. Her reputation was destroyed. Her job fired her. Her fiancé, Victor, broke off their engagement. Her friends stopped calling. She'd built her entire identity on being the martyred single mother, and now everyone knew the truth. A year after the trial, I stood in my backyard at Sophia's graduation party. She just finished her first year of college, studying social work. She wanted to help other kids who'd been separated from their parents. Claire was there too, with her husband and 2 kids, my grandchildren, who I was finally getting to know. Sophia walked over and handed me a glass of lemonade. "You okay, Dad?" I smiled. "Yeah, I'm okay. I read all of them, you know. All your letters. You did. Every single one." I stayed up for 3 nights reading them in order. I wanted to see what I'd missed. And she hugged me. "You never stopped trying. Even when it was hopeless, even when she made it impossible, you never stopped writing. You never stopped being my dad." "I couldn't," I said simply. "You're my daughter. That doesn't stop just because someone tries to erase it." Claire joined us, her kids running around the yard. "You know what's crazy?" she said. "Mom tried to make us afraid of you. She tried to turn you into this monster. But the thing she was most afraid of was that we'd find out the truth." "What truth?" Sophia asked. "That he loved us. That he never stopped fighting for us. That we were worth fighting for." Claire smiled. "She tried to erase you, Dad. But you never stopped writing. And we finally read every word.